Zdravím všechny posluchače, tohle je Martin Konvička a vítejte u další epizody podcastu 32 Bar Talk. Dnes jsme tady s skvělým klavíristou, jedním z generačních hlasů jazzového klavíru a tím je Mr. Sulliven Fortner. Welcome, Sullivan.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's very nice of you to take this time and join me in this little conversation. We got like 40 minutes before the sound check.
So that's all good. Thank you for the ask. Appreciate it.
But, you know, I hope we get to something interesting. I want to start with something that concerns the latest release, of course, because I think, you know, that's what's going on, and that's probably what you're going to be playing tonight with the trio. Is that so?
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of.
Some of them will be from that, and some will be other things too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a while since you had a trio recording out.
Mm-hmm.
And you happy that you went back into that after the pause with, or doing a lot of with singers and, you know, solo and all that?
Happy. Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I'll just say, making the album with the people that I made it with was a lot of fun. And it was, you know, during a residency that we had at the Village Vanguard. So we were all kind of like, all right, this feels good. Let's just keep this going, you know? Let's just record it. Let's just lay it down.
Yeah, sure,
not
sure,
really
sure.
thinking much of it. And that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that the approach that you would find typical for yourself, that you just take the chance when it feels good and you just fix it at the moment, and then it's a recording and it just comes out, and then you are just doing your thing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, how I like to roll, or how I've been liking to record and deal with things recently, has basically been, you've been working on something, just lay it down, just record it as it is. Mm-hmm. And maybe afterwards, if you want to, you can add layers and all that stuff, hence solo game.
Yeah, sure.
But for this recording, I said, you know what? Let's just lay this down as it is. No edits. First takes only, maybe second takes only. Yeah. And let's just go. And that was what happened.
Good. I mean, you know, it's a traditional approach in that context. And I mean, I appreciate it also, you know, in the context of music being like very produced and very polished sometimes, you know, in the jazz context, it's nice. Someone is just like, you know, this is how it sounds. It sounds now, and it's a take, you know, it's always going to be good somehow. And we maybe choose the ones that are the most like,
the most honest, or, you know, as opposed to the ones that are the most tight.
Yeah, sure.
And, with those musicians, you know, with Marcus Gilmore and Peter Washington, it was very easy, you know. And it was fun because it was the first time I recorded where everyone was in the same room. Okay. So there was no isolation. Mm-hmm. And it's much more comfortable that way. Everyone was kind of like set up in like the traditional Oscar Peterson setup, nice, you know, kind of like how we're going to set up tonight. Yeah. We just set up in the studio the same way, and we just played it as if there was a live audience in front of us.
Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. You feel the bass, you know, and everything.
Exactly.
It's good. I'm a pianist myself.
Yeah,
so.
No amps,
I get it.
You know what I mean? No headphones, nothing. Just
sure.
Pure sound. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. So you do the Oscar Peterson setting in the trio?
Yeah.
Always, or did you ever?
It's been maybe about, I would say about 5-6 years. I've been messing with that. And
you find it comfortable? Like, I mean, you know, it's always.
I do actually. It is a little bit like have a head turn. You know,
sometimes with the drummer, right? You know,
for the head, yeah. But in another sense, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. In another sense, it's really cool because there's not a lot of stuff I don't have to explain or shout over a cue.
Sure.
You know, they can just look at my hands and they just look at my hands, really. Bass player standing right over me. Mm-hmm, you know, so that's nice. And the other thing is I get to kind of like heckle and talk smack while we're playing, and they laugh. It's a lot of fun.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think that's, you know, Not many trios play like this anymore. I mean, you see
Not
some,
many,
but
not
it's
many. I
okay.
mean, I think Gerald Clayton still does it.
Okay, yeah.
Gerald Clayton still does it. That's one of the only pianists that I know that that keeps that setup.
No, yeah. I think it makes sense. If Oscar did it,
If Oscar did it, if Ahmad Jamal did it,
yeah, yeah,
why not?
sure, get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, Monty Alexander also does it.
okay, yeah, yeah. Those all are like offspring
Exactly.
of that same language, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Gotta try it sometimes.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I will.
Give it a shot.
Sounds fun. Well, the thing is that Southern Nights is the name of the record, and of course, I mean, you're playing. It's always this is a landscape of like many different things and influences. And one of the things I want to ask you is, if I already have the chance, so why not? Because I feel sometimes, there's of course there's a lot of the language of jazz music and what like all the little tints that it has in it, like even the like old school stuff that has the connection to Orleans and New Orleans and all that. So, but it's still modern stuff. But there's a lot of atonal principles. So, I was listening to the record, and particularly I Love You has an intro that sounds like Pierre Boulez, and it's like a sonata, from like a little excerpt from like a middle of a modernist sonata. So, do you like that kind of music?
Oh man, absolutely. I mean, part of it. I got exposed to it during my studies at Oberlin, Oberlin Conservatory in Ohio, and then later I started studying with Jason Moran.
Oh, sure, okay.
So that's a lot of it. We used to work a lot through Berg, Anton Berg, and of course, some Stravinsky stuff we would talk about. You know what I mean, and some Shostakovich, and Richard Strauss. Just getting into like some stuff that's a little bit stretching as far as harmony and as far as the relationship of melody to harmony. Just stretching those boundaries. So I mean, it's in there, and I mean, and like now, me and Cecile Smiklo and Salvana are working out an aria from Electra. Nice. Richard Strauss. So we're trying to figure out a way to kind of arrange that for a jazz trio or whatever. So it's, we're looking forward to messing with some more of that type of music, which I love. I really love it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a straightforward answer in that sense. I mean, that Jason Moran, I think I heard him somewhere saying, I don't know, where was it, if it was an interview or some sort. He said that he was transcribing Lulu Suit.
Yeah, we had to play that. We played it.
Which is the Albenberg.
Yeah, we played it in school.
Oh,
he made us play his transcription. Yeah, he made it an ensemble, and we had a couple of rehearsals. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah, I get it then. So I mean, because it is a language, it has a sound, it has an emotion, and it's so like it's part of the tradition already. It's nothing that new anymore.
No,
so it's just it's a texture, and if you want to make if you just at the instrument, you can use it. You can use the language to create a contrast of sorts or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about balance. It's all about balance and contrast. To me, I think my favorite music has those elements. It's always an element of balance between tonal and atonal, between thick and sparse, between stuff like the high dynamics versus low dynamics. It's just like the balance between those two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Harmony on a different level.
Absolutely.
In the form and in everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hit the form, leave the form, get back into it. All that stuff is fun.
Sure.
My favorite music, and musicians have that element of surprise and balance in what they do.
Well, talking about that, I mean, do you listen like on a regular basis to music, or are you more of a, when you're playing a lot? I get it that sometimes you want to rest your ears, whatever. I don't know. Some people are listening all the time.
I'm not the biggest listener I know, but I do listen, and I do. My girlfriend plays a lot of stuff around the house, so from different countries and different styles of music. So I'm always listening to. She's always exposing me to different, different artists from different regions and different. So have you ever heard of this person from Senegal? It's like, no, oh man, this is the biggest guy. You need to listen to him. Or you need to, what I mean. So she's really inspiring
I
me
get that. I get that. I
to
have the
broaden
same
my
thing.
listening antennas. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
But this year I made a vow to go out when I have time to just go out and just listen to people play.
Okay.
And that's been really cool. At the beginning of the year, I went to the Vanguard a few times in New York and a couple other places, and just heard like some of my friends play. And I've heard some of my teachers play, just going out, going to the Metropolitan Opera House, what I mean?
Sure.
Just
Mix it up a little.
mixing
Yep.
it up, you know
Yep.
what I mean? Yeah.
I got yeah, yeah. Because that's some people have this habit of like sitting down at home twice a week, and listening to the new records, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally do not do that either. It's just like by chance, someone kind
Exactly.
of plays you something that kind of sounds good, so you can go back to it at a certain point. It's not a ritual of a sort.
Absolutely.
But live music is of course different in the sense that you just know that tonight we're gonna go out and we're gonna see someone.
We're going to see
That's
someone, we're
great.
going to listen to it. And to me, I get more out of that
Sure, sure.
than actually sitting and listening to full records. Not that that's bad, but I actually like to see the performances. You know what I mean? I feel like I get more out of a visual than an oral sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about the like pop music or whatever? I mean,
Oh yeah, man.
I get it. You kind of said it that your girlfriend plays a lot of music around the house. So
Oh
I
yeah.
imagine it's not only like she's not playing Coltrane all day, whatever.
Oh no. As a matter of fact, it's funny because she's a jazz singer, but she rarely listens to jazz, at home. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that she's been like in love with lately. I can't think of his name right now. Kind of an indie. She's more into like indie rock, indie pop.
Okay, yep.
She's into that underground scene of people, not so much the popular, like the Beyoncés,
Top
or the,
mainstream
you
stuff.
know
Yeah.
what I mean? Kendrick Lamar. She's really into Kendrick Lamar, and into like, Kanye, the hip hop cats. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah, yeah, sure.
That's Charlie SCX and Doja
Oh
Cat,
yeah,
all those
okay.
people. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you all
You
know
know.
all these stuff.
We
All this,
know, yeah. I mean, she knows them better than I do.
you're a passive listener.
But I'm a passive listener, and I sit and listen to it with her. She said, what do you think of that? So I think it's great, Yeah. But I don't know any lyrics. I don't know,
Yeah, sure.
you know what I mean? I don't know the song titles or anything. But yeah, it's real good music. It's a lot of, and what's amazing to me now is that it seems like a lot of people aren't necessarily waiting for labels. You know what I mean? People are kind of doing things independently. I mean, people are even recording albums from their phones and releasing them the next
And
day.
that's
You know
going
what I'm
on. Yeah,
saying?
I know. Yeah.
So that's amazing. The amount of music that's coming in on a daily basis could be overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot. No one has a chance to ever listen to everything.
Exactly.
These days. It's just like
Exactly.
you got to cherry pick, and even then,
That's right.
It's but if someone starts doing something like that and they blow up, maybe they get to Grammys. The Charlie XCX case, she was not that big, a few years
No.
back, and suddenly, she's there, she's got a Grammy,
Yeah.
you got a
Hey.
Grammy too,
Yeah, I did. I ended up getting one this year.
by the way,
Yeah, ended up getting one this year with Samara Joy.
Yes.
Best jazz performance.
Man, and how do you feel about the choice of the best jazz performance? I mean, it's such a minimalistic tune that you
It's
got
a
it
very
for.
minimalistic tune. It's a Christmas song, which is shocking, But I mean, with the incline of Samara Joy, it doesn't really surprise me all that much. I mean, Samara is kind of like one of the, if not the most famous, jazz singers in America right now. So for her to win something on the Grammys wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
Even the album that we did together, the Christmas album. Yeah. That one, just because of the popularity that is Samara, and not taking away from her musicianship, but she's an incredible singer.
Sure.
But it's industry, and it's really a beautiful thing, to watch her, and to watch her bloom and blossom into a force of music, not just a singer, but an actual like a force in music. It's really inspiring.
Nice.
And I'm really grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a choice. It's
the
like
the song itself is a very interesting choice, and
but I
think
gotta get it.
I get it.
Everyone knows he can play anything. Almost. It's like and suddenly there's this. It has a certain emotion and it's very strong. And it keeps up the whole 3 minutes. You know?
Exactly.
And you don't even have a solo, and it's the best jazz performance.
Right. That's kind of deep that it's saying something.
I kind of like that.
No solo.
It's kind of it's kind of when I listened to it, I was like, what is going on first and second? I was like, if this is the way jazz is being kind of judged, by the, of course, like Grammy people, whatever, it's good because you don't have to like completely like blow the stuff out like every time.
No,
you got taste is a thing more than like just virtuosic perpetuity of something,
Yeah.
So that kind of struck me as an interesting thing. And of course, I mean, you have a little pretty run in the thirds at the end, and I was like, oh, well, we all know that's not easy, whatever, it's like, he knows how to play, it's not just like,
just fiddling around.
Even if you write it out, this part would be like, man, it's not like, of course it has like even virtuosic elements to it, the performance, but I think it's about the tastefulness of it and the fit with Samara, kind of.
I think that was what we were going. What was funny about it is that when we recorded it, I had never played that song before.
Okay.
So I was literally sight reading like a head chart of it, and I was like, okay,
so just the chords.
Just the chords. Yeah. That's all we had, and we had played it one time. I think what she ended up using, I can't remember how many takes it was that we did. I think we only did like 2 takes of it, upon recommendation of her producer, Matt Pearson. And we just kind of laid, not thinking anything. We didn't even think anything about it, and I was just like, well, let me just play. It's such a baby sounding song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star kind of vibe. So just let me just think as sparse as I can, and then kind of bloom from inside of her voice, as opposed to trying to create all of this stuff that's happening externally outside of it.
Yep.
I was trying to play whatever I played. I was trying to come from inside of her voice with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, but I think I get it.
Yeah,
because she's got a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Of material in the color and in timbre.
So I was just trying to follow where her voice was, follow
Nice.
where her voice took the song.
That's an interesting thing.
And I try to do that a lot, even with Cecile or with Kurt Elling or whatever singer that I work with. I try to work. There's a lesson that Stefan Harris actually taught me, to play from inside, not just inside of the music, but inside of the musicians. Like, find the qualities that you love, and then try to enhance that. Make it bigger, but from inside of their voice. So wherever I don't really know how else to say it.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
You just listen, and even if you're comping a soloist or whatever, but with the singers, it's much more palpable.
Absolutely.
Because it's so personal.
Absolutely.
So you kind of have this, I get it sound-wise. I can imagine sound-wise what you mean.
Yeah.
And you're basically like, you're not adding something that it's not.
That's not there.
It's just like putting contours and kind of
Absolutely.
embroidering the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. That's a interesting because one of my questions was about your work with other singers, but I just wanted to express a great admiration for your capabilities as a person who is a pianist. Also, like I know you can sing because I've seen some of the COVID streams, but no. I mean, the thing is that comping singer is a thing on its own. It's like a special, discipline, I guess.
Yeah.
If you listen to Oscar Peterson comping Ella, it's just like it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Oscars playing is when he's comping.
When he's comping, right?
And then that's just like incredible. And then he has a solo, and you're like, oh,
It's like,
of
all right,
course,
of course,
even that
it's
is
Oscar Peterson.
Yeah.
But
the comping,
that's
so tasteful.
it is. It is.
And-
I mean, all the great piano players, I feel like that was kind of a given. Either they sang or they worked with singers. I mean, have you heard the recording of Tatum singing?
No.
Man, that'll mess you up. Him playing for himself singing is really, really, it puts a lot of things into perspective.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it puts a lot of things into
check it out.
perspective. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Nice. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, this is an interesting subject because it kind of connects it back to the song.
Yeah.
The whole, like whatever complexity there is in whoever's playing, it's you have to have a lead somewhere,
Yeah.
very deep inside,
Mm-hmm.
And in your playing, it's so complex sometimes, whatever's going on, like there's voices, harmony, rhythm. There's a lot going on,
There's a lot of shit in there.
But
Yeah.
Kinda carries the phrase always. Not kinda. It always does, And so I think that's a thing that kind of is within the inner voice. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm always hearing and singing the melody inside, and sometimes even like verbally playing it. Like the melody will always kind of be somewhere in a voice. Whether it be in the alto or the tenor or somewhere at the bottom or at the I disperse it sometimes, but the melody will always be present, and yeah, whatever I do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like interesting orchestration in your playing. Sometimes it feels like 2 people playing. Sometimes it's just like 4 people playing. Nah, I didn't know how it's.
I wish.
One piano,
Yeah.
No, but what I want to say is that, like, did you ever consider? Or have you ever? I haven't found anything, but have you ever composed for like other instruments? Have you ever considered that? Yeah, like aspiration in that sense.
I wrote out a short flute piece for one of my friends, and it was a lot of fun to do. So I've been commissioned to write a couple things, but time and everything. But maybe one day I'll take them up, string quartet commission or something. And I'm really curious to branch out. I'm working on a choral project also.
Oh, nice! Like a lot of voices.
Live voices. My family. I need my family to sing. So
nice.
That's another thing that I'm working on maybe in the next year or so.
So cool. That's good.
So.
No, I mean because it's the material. Sometimes it's calling for an orchestration.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ideas, and
yeah.
you only have 2 hands, but an orchestra could do
an orchestra could do anything.
Keep it going like at a long
Mm-hmm.
time. Whatever. And I myself would be quite interested in whatever would that be.
Okay. I've just got to be brave enough to try it.
Man, I
That's
mean,
all.
you already transcribed or played
Yeah.
Alban Berg in school, so yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have too much to do.
yeah, that's true.
It's
Yeah.
time things, I think.
That's
It's
true.
like, it's just having the impulse to do it. Well, talking about that, basically,
Yeah, just
one of
having
my
them.
things here is that can you like follow an impulse that happens to you when you want to create something, or that kind of makes you go into the creative mood? Or does it have to be something that kind of pushes you into it a little bit, or is it something that like you listen to something and suddenly you're like, I should go play, or
It's funny. I had an argument with my girlfriend about it the day before I left
I
New
don't want
York.
to.
Well, actually the day I left New York, it was, and I was arguing that maybe the issue with me is that I'm always waiting on something musical to inspire it. And her argument is that well, it's the good old saying that all the great musicians have said since the beginning of time, and it's that basically music doesn't come from music. So if you want to be inspired by something, you have to be a person of the world. You have to study literature. You have to study art. You have to study film.
Yeah,
You have to there's everything that has absolutely nothing to do with music. You have to study people. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not really interested in anything else other than music. And that's your problem.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you, kind of.
You know what I mean?
'Cause
So that's something that I've been trying to I've been
I mean,
reckoning
kind
with for
of
the last
like
couple of days.
take it as an impulse in the sense that kind of makes sense that if a lot of stuff that actually like comes to you, you are you being a musician, everything that comes to you, you kind of transport it back into the music. So I mean, it's
Exactly.
hard to kind of like make the cut and be like, I'm gonna go for a walk and inspire myself for the next recording. It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
mean,
stuff doesn't really happen.
it's just something that if you live through something interesting and nice, sure you're gonna
Yeah,
remember it. You might
exactly.
not be like explicitly
Exactly.
like writing a song that's called like the best lunch of my life, the next day, but
Exactly.
but
And maybe in allowing time to kind of like reveal what it's supposed to mean. Like there's stuff that I've written about experience that happened to me when I was a kid.
it takes time
You know what I
sometimes.
mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it takes time for stuff to bake and marinate before it actually becomes something
Yeah.
that could inspire something artistically. You know what I mean? Sometimes, I mean, a lot of the song titles that I had on Solo Game were based off Dick Gregory quotes that I read. You know what I mean? Or like something that I
Yeah,
heard on
sure.
TV. You know what I mean? It doesn't, it doesn't have to be like I'm gonna go outside and that's gonna. I'm gonna go walk around the pond or go and I don't know, go take a walk down the pier in New York, and I'm gonna see the where the Twin Towers used to be, and then that's gonna
Yeah.
inspire my next
Yeah,
piece of
yeah,
song.
I get it.
It's not like
But
that.
that was my
Yeah.
thing. So, my question that for me, for example, sometimes it's just feel like listening to some music. Just I don't have time to listen to a whole album. I listen to 2 tracks, like random, whatever. I hear it,
Absolutely.
and I'm like,
Same.
I'm interested in exploring this kind of sound world, whatever, and
That
that kind of
sound.
kicks me
Absolutely.
into the inspirational process. It's like, and of
Yeah.
course, it's not by I'm not necessarily inspired by the chord change or whatever. It's not that basic.
Yeah.
It's basically the
Yeah.
emotion that's behind that
No.
kind of inspiring. So you kind
The
of are
feeling
inspired
behind
by
it.
other things,
Absolutely.
even though you're inspired by music. It's not like one or the other.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
always being surrounded by music, on the other hand, is just dangerous because sometimes it's like, oh, you know, what are your hobbies? I kind
Exactly.
of like to play. It's like you ask a classical musician what he does for a holiday. He's practicing probably. It's
Exactly. Exactly. It's very
sometimes it's like a
depressing.
small world. It's a black and white world.
Yeah, it's very small, very small.
But
Yeah.
have you ever thought of getting into a different instrument? Really?
I tried to play trumpet at one point. I did. I took trumpet lessons
Oh yeah.
from Theo Croker.
Nice.
We
Nice.
were roommates in college, and my dad used to have a
Mm-hmm,
trumpet. He played in high school, so I bought it. I bought it to Oberlin one like maybe for like a few months and try to take up trumpet lessons. It was kind of hard, but I ended up trying to get I ended up kind of figuring out long tones and figuring out certain fingerings and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I wish I had kept it up. I probably would have a semi decent sound by now if I had kept it going.
Yeah, I mean, trumpet
You
is
know,
interesting because
yeah.
you kind of feel it, right in your,
Yeah, exactly. You feel
The
it
sound
right
is
there.
part of your body.
You know,
It's interesting.
exactly.
Huh, that's an interesting choice, but it was more of a choice by do you like the sound the most, or?
Just I do like the sound of the instrument, and it was also just the fact that
Oh yeah, okay.
the trumpet was there. Like it wasn't something that I had to
mm.
go out and buy. My dad actually had a trumpet, so just
Yeah.
whatever was laying around
Good.
the house, I would
Good.
just play. Yeah.
So to I'm gonna switch it to another realm a little.
Okay.
And we kind of touched upon that too. I had a question about what you do to relax. You like, yeah.
I sleep. I sleep. What else?
That's one
I
of my
cook.
things.
Cooking is kind of a
Oh,
new
okay.
thing for me, and it's actually been very therapeutic to
So you cook for yourself
to
and your
do.
girlfriend?
I cook. Yeah,
Nice.
we cook at home. I'll make something. She's like, "That's really good." So she's like, "I really want to get you some cooking classes." And if we have time in New York, just learn how to use a knife properly. I almost
Yeah.
cut my finger off a couple months ago, and then she was like, "No, you actually need your fingers, so you should probably not do that." But yeah, so that I've been slacking on it, but I actually enjoy when I get in the routine of exercising. You know, do like some standard, nothing crazy, just
Yeah,
just
yeah.
regular calisthenics.
It's healthy. It's good
Push-ups
for the
and
back.
sit-ups
Always
and
sitting
all
down.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm into the T25 insanity
Okay.
workouts and all that stuff. So doing all that jumping and stuff in the hotels.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
No,
stuff
but
like
that's
that.
that's
Yeah.
that's good because cooking is quite creative too. Yeah. I mean, and if
Yeah,
you
it
know a
is.
lot of tastes,
It is.
you can.
You can kind of figure out certain things that work, and you can put stuff together and
Yeah, it's
create your
fun.
own
It's
little
fun.
concoctions. And, yeah. Sometimes you screw up, and then you got to throw it away, and sometimes
It's
it
such a
actually
popular
works.
thing to do as a hobby for, if it's not only for you. It's so great because you can
Yeah.
you get friends over, and if you like cooking, you do it. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good," and everyone likes to
Yeah,
hang out with you because
Right, because you're gonna cook something.
Yeah,
So
I have a
get
friend
more
who
friends that
used to
way.
work at a restaurant for 2 years. Before that, he didn't cook at all, but he got really good at it. Over the 2 years, and he got so quick
Got
and
good
all.
at it.
He's got all these French names for shit. And suddenly,
Yeah.
we're out there somewhere, for a few days, hanging out, and he's cooking always, and I was like, man,
Killing.
this is so good. And it brings him joy both ways, It's like he does it, the process is fun,
Yeah.
and then he kind of, gets the joy back when eating and also from the feedback.
When you eat it, and when people are like, "Yeah, that's really good. How
And
did
he
you do
comes
that?"
up with something
Yeah.
weird, like French method of some sort, Yeah, I like that. So there's a weird little kind of question from me. It's been, I think, 9 years. I kind of looked it up today. You played a trio tour, like a small tour around Czech Republic with two of my friends, a Slovakian bass player
Oh
Peter and a
man.
and a drummer Václav. Does it ring a bell?
Yeah, absolutely. I sure do. I remember that. I saw Václav
In Basel?
not too long
Yeah.
ago, man.
He lives there
In
now.
Basel. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, bro?
He lives there now, so yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
He's still in Basel. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, man, it's good people, man. And that was an interesting
Because
it was an interesting tour. Cause I remember I had some trio gigs and then I had some solo gigs. It was right after I won the American Pianist Association competition. And I remember one gig,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Miroslav Vitush
the
came.
bass player, right?
Yeah, the bass player, and he literally basically ripped a hole in my ass. he, he just had all of these. He basically, I walked up to him, so nice to meet you, and he was just basically like, he was terrible. I was like, damn, okay. I was like, well, what happened? I mean, he just
Really? And
went
was
in
did,
on,
did he have a point, or was
and
it
I
like?
felt. Oh, he
He's
had
a
a
very
point.
like.
He had a point.
I
And,
haven't met him myself. Maybe I met him, but I never talked to him. Kind of scared. From all
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
and from all the little stories
Yeah.
I heard, he can be quite harsh.
He's very harsh, but it's good. It's good. I was raised on that kind of
Yeah, I
that type
mean,
of honesty, and I mean, I got it from Ellis Marsalis. I got it from Fred Hirsch. Who people who were nice, but they were like honest, and I learned a lot. From that experience, just about solo piano and just pacing, overall pacing, and just things like that. It's really cool. I appreciate him for that. So if you're listening, Miroslav, I appreciate you.
Still good. We're good. No, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably didn't come from a point of like, "Well, I don't like you, but I don't like the gig,
No.
whatever. It's like it can be,
Right.
and it's a strong position, of course, And if it has a point, it's always
Absolutely.
good to hear someone not only. Yeah, sure.
Constructive criticism.
So
Absolutely.
that was my question. It's interesting because those both are my classmates from the school. So we're playing together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're actually playing together with
Oh, that's
Peter.
cool.
I have
Y'all
a trio
still-
with him. So
Oh man, that's killing, man. Man, tell him I said hey.
he
It was
might
a lot
be
of
here
fun
tonight.
to play with, man.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's.
Oh, cool.
But I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna call him up if he's here. We're gonna gonna cheer from the
All
crowd.
right, cool, yeah. Killing.
Yeah.
Killing. Yeah, man.
I think we're slowly closing on the time because I don't want to keep you till
Okay.
the start of the sound check, but
Yeah.
one more thing, if I may.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I would like to hear who your favorite guys on the scene would be now. Like in the sense of like who kind of has for you the validity and also like something new that comes.
Well, I mean, off top of my head, I think of people like Chris Davis. I think of people like David Reyes, great Cuban pianist. Of course, my friend Emmanuel Wilkins and his entire group, from Micah Thomas to Kwaku, and and what they're all doing individually is really inspiring to me. Speaking of somebody like Micah, who I met when he was 14, 15.
Okay.
And watching him develop into a monster piano player that he is really inspiring. Let's see. I think of people like. I mean, I've been keeping my ears open to a lot of different, especially younger musicians. People like Nicole Glover, who's a great saxophone player. Joel Ross, of course.
No,
I mean, my buddies, Emmett Cohen. These are like some of my friends. You know what I mean? The people that I know and I listen to, and I try to pick from and, take what I can. And, we inspire each other. That's what the community is about,
Right, yeah, it should be.
And of course, the trio the guys that I'm playing with are inspiring. Kayvon Gordon and Tyrone Allen. They're very inspiring young musicians, and I have a good time playing with them. And I hope that they enjoy playing with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, off top of my head, I don't discriminate. I learn from everybody. I listen to. If you're playing an instrument, I'm going to listen to you. You know what I mean? And of course, people like Tigran Hamasyan and Gerald and all of those guys will always be like top tier to me. You know.
No, I mean, you said quite the list. It was quite the list, but of course, everyone has something.
Yeah. Oh
it's
boy.
not like
It's not like I can't say these are the best or this one.
I didn't want that.
Everybody's nuts.
What comes to your mind is fine, and the thing that I find interesting is that it still kind of is the same plateau of musicians that come to mind when I ask someone in the podcast. Usually, Emmanuel comes up a lot, and his band, of course.
Yeah,
and those are people that kind of have it going for them at the moment, and it's interesting.
It's interesting. I mean, I guess in New York, the scene that's in New York is kind of small. So everybody kind of knows each other and everybody's playing with each other. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
There's a lot of and there's quite a few young pianists that we don't know of yet.
No.
But that are like gonna be, some of the ones. Like there's a young pianist that is out actually now playing with Chris Bodie. His name is Esteban Castro.
Okay.
Very talented pianist. Also, young guy, 18 years old, Brandon Goldberg, who's also monstrous. Very mature sounding. It doesn't sound. He kind of sounds like Bill Charlap, who's like 18. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
It's kind of what is going on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this is a phenomenon too. Like the I mean, the generational, like the way people are maturing early on the instrument, and not only on the instrument, taste-wise.
That's the thing. That's
it's
deep.
weird,
Yeah.
It's like forward. It's kind of still going forward. It's a funny thing,
Yeah.
and of course it's good,
Absolutely.
I take it as good, because it's like what are they going to be doing when they're like,
exactly. They may
old
switch
guys,
gears, or they may continue on into something else. You never know. You never know what. I just like to sit back and just watch.
Yeah, it's like
just sit back and just watch.
Sure.
I mean, we thought that when we saw Eldar Jangroff at like 14 playing Oscar Peterson like a madman. You know what I mean? Or Taylor Eichste, or somebody like that. It's the same kind of same kind of energy. It's more and more of that seems like now. And it's inspiring to watch. Yeah. There's also a few like in New York that are kind of unsung that are like, killing. Like people like Victor Gould, who plays with Jasmine Horn sometimes. Okay. Or, somebody like Willem Delsford or Miki Yamanaka. It's just cats and just cats. Serious about the music and writing their asses off and playing their asses off. It's a really interesting time in the New York scene right now.
Yeah. Do you have any European names? I mean, not that I would like to like take it out.
Take out Euro names. You. I like you.
Yeah, I got the bass player you like, so I mean, you actually might like it. You might like it.
Yeah, man.
No, but it's just as you said, it's a community in New York, and of course, with the amount of music that we all are exposed to, all that. So I guess it's not like you're not researching European jazz.
I got a lot of friends in Europe. Pablo Held.
Oh yeah, okay,
That's
sure.
my friend, man. I love Pablo.
Oh, his playing is amazing.
Yeah, man. He's one of the just a great musician and a great person too. I'm spacing though. I know so many, and it's a drag because if they came to my face, I'd be like, "Damn, yes, him. He's amazing." Right, I just my head is just also jet lag, and
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, but do you when you travel around, like in Europe or whatever, do you?
Omri Moore.
Okay.
It's coming. Stuff's starting to move around. I'm sorry. I'm going crazy. So go ahead. You asked your question.
I'm taking notes here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna then transcribe the names from the podcast.
There you go.
And put it
exactly.
Make a list.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you have time to hang out in the cities, or do you just a hotel, plane?
Sometimes
or
I have
car?
time to hang out.
Okay.
Sometimes I get an opportunity, but for the most part, like on a tour like this is the first stop, and we're going until like March 9th. And every day is going to be a different city, basically with no days off.
Okay.
So with a tour like this, it's kind of hard to kind of get a chance to get out and see stuff.
Yeah.
But if there's a situation where we plan and we end early and there's somebody else playing afterwards, we're probably going to go and check it out. And,
Yeah. Tomorrow you're playing Prague.
Tomorrow we play Jazz Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's where I live, so I might stop by.
All right.
Again.
Cool. If you're not bored or you're not tired of this,
They're not going to be playing like the same notes as tonight, right?
we won't play the same notes.
Okay, then
probably
I
not
might.
the same set either. Yeah. So.
But that was great having you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the amazing list of names.
There's a lot more where it comes from.
Yeah, and thank you for all the honest questions.
Oh man,
answers.
Oh well, I do my best. There's one thing I am is honest. Man. I can't lie to save my life.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you to all the listeners, and I'll hear you again.
All right.
Thank you.
Dig it.